Long ago, in Alola region, there lives with a Sylvia who was telling Pokemon stories in the middle of the night. Some are big, some are small. Some are mythical, some are legendary, some are not. Some are furred, some are feathered. And some even filled with leaves. And since in the lowland region a lowland moon starts to fall, the Sylveon starts to read a story after all. Long ago in the world of the lowland region, there was a Mew, the new species Pokemon, explore around the Alola region for every day. But after Mew starts to head off at the evening, the Alolan Rattata was very curious. The Alolan Rattata explained to the Alolan Raticate and say, "What happens when it gets bright?" The Alolan Raticate says, "The daylight was very dangerous. You can't go there." So after dawn hits, the little Rattata, the curious Rattata, decide to skedaddle out of the cave. Alolan Rattata, the mouse Pokemon, dark normal type. Since the sun hits, the Alolan Vulpix is sleeping on snow, but after it wakes up, so it decides to get out of the snow. And the Alolan Vulpix was very curious. And at dawn hits, a flock of Zubat is snoozing in a cave. But then one of them decide to fly out of the cave till it's dawn. Until dawn, the Zubat is very curious. A Pikipek was climbing on look for some food in the trees to peck some grubs. But until in a human city, the Pikipek decide to find what happens when you peck a hole in everything in the city. So the Pikipek was very curious. In the volcano, a Charmander woken up, and other Pokemon trying to warn, the rain starts to hit. We must stay in our dens so we can get cold. The curious fire-type Pokemon decides what the think rain is supposed to be good. So it was very, very curious. But suddenly a mew appeared. Mew appeared from the sky. It says, "You silly lizard. Don't you know the rain will happen? Do you know what happened if the rain hit the tail? You'll be dead by now," Mew said. But the Charmander said, "I don't care." So it looked away now. Mew was very, very worried. So it took off. At the harvest in Alola region, a pumpkaboo snoozed in a pumpkin patch. Unfortunately, pumpkaboo can't be found in Alola. But the Mew whooshed towards pumpkaboo and said, "Don't you know they can't come back from the harvest? You might get lonely." But the pumpkaboo said, the pumpkaboo jump scared Mew and starts to take off. It means it doesn't care. Mimikyu, the disguised Pokemon, was not very cute as can be, but it's just a fairy type. So he's thinking, what if happened if Mimikyu decides to take the rag off? So he's decided to know what its secret is. Mew appeared and said, "You might let people killed when you took off that rag," Mew said, and Mimikyu is speechless, so it's decided to turn around and never come back again. And Mew was very, very worried about what happened to other Pokemon that had curiosity. Mew appeared. It started crossing, put the arms on its hips, and wink an eye on every Pokemon, and the other Pokemon says, "We don't want to do that anymore. We just want to go home and be alright." "We promise never." The Mew says, "We were so worried. You shouldn't be acting like this forever." And the Pokemon says, "We promise never be curious about anything again." And so the Mew smiled and decided to let other Pokemon head home. Zubat was back in their cozy dark nest. Mimikyu was back in their rags again, so it never hurt anyone. And Pumpkaboo was back in the pumpkin patch tail during the fall season day. And Pikapak was still hungry and started pecking everything until its beak was fixed. And Early Rattata back in her den to get a good night's rest for some hibernation. gentle where it belongs.